most important day to us in the cow herd is the day the animal is born. If that animal must be born alive, it must have vigor, and it must have the data information on it that we need, and that information needs to be accurate as far as the birth date, the sire, the dam, the calving ease. Otherwise, all other measures in performance testing is in error.
So if you tag the calf on the day he's born and take his weaning weight the day you wean him, and you take the yearling weight with ultrasound, that's where all the EPDs come from, that's where all your yearling information comes from.
From our local database, we can sort any way we want, and we can generate reports that show the weaning weight, the yearling weight, and all those weights are indexed within our herd, and then they're also indexed within the national averages. Those indexes create EPDs. Once EPDs are created, they can create economic important EPDs that go together to create dollar indexes.
Yearling time we do scrotal measurements on the bulls, and on the heifers we ultrasound, and the bulls we ultrasound also, and that's where all your back fat, your ribeye EP information comes from.
Each trait that we measure gets compared to the average of the Hereford breed in North America. The 50 percentile on this chart is right down the middle. So if that given trait is above average, it's to the right of the 50 percentile. If that trait is below the breed average, it's to the left. So we desire to have almost all the traits to the right. Now, EPDs change twice a year or more, and they keep changing and evolving as more and more calves are born, more and more calves are performance tested and data is sent in. So as more data comes in, the more accurate the data is on a given bull. So his EPDs are actually updated twice a year. How to use this bar graph? We use it in selections for whether we're picking herd bulls or whether we're picking females to mate to a given herd bull. This is an example of how we use the bar graphs and the traits.
Heifer calves and the bull calves in here are all light birth weights. You know, we try to breed low birth weight bulls to these first calf heifers with the highest growth we can get. Like a lot of good markings on them. We like dark red, rednecks. That's what we breed for on heifers.
This tool is used for many things. It tells you where you're at within your herd bull battery. It tells you where you're at of the genetics that you have already put into your cow herd. It tells you also where your weaknesses are. And weaknesses are what we look for as much as we do strengths. Because we look for strengths to offset weaknesses. And that's what this is all about. Is correcting weaknesses, and so you got to find strengths to correct weaknesses. Now this particular group would need a bull that's strong in marbling, for example. If you had a group of bulls that were weak on growth, we can match you up with bulls that are really strong in growth. If you had a bar graph that was weak or had birth weights too high, we got animals that we can match up with animals that are really strong in calving ease. So it's a tool to use that's available, and we are willing to offer that as a service to our customers.